it up.
Welcome to the game.
Joey's gonna do the honors, starting the hatch up. It's gonna sound like shit.
No, it's not.
It's gonna sound amazing. All right. No, you're right. I ain't ready. Oh, hey. My knees. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Tyler, and welcome back to Brooklyn Build 718. As many of you know, I'm into Hondas, specifically the EF chassis, which is 1988 to 1991. I wanted to give you guys an update on what's been going on because I've been very busy with my life and everything, so it's been hard for me to post footage and keep you guys updated on all my vehicles. Hello to all the new subscribers, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the content. Take a look and see where I've started and how my collection is built up to where it is today. I'm gonna post up some footage because I filmed last weekend and somehow the card got messed up where the footage was lost and I wasn't able to upload anything, and I was only able to save a few clips. So last weekend, as you guys know from the beginning of this video, I was able to do a few things to the hatch. The hatch has actually been put on hold now because originally I was supposed to be taking the D16 that came out of this car and I was going to take it to the machine shop and get it rebuilt just so that it's up to spec and I was able to have a reliable single cam that I could daily or just beat on, or just have another motor that I was accessible to that was ready to be dropped in. Unfortunately, the machine shop, they're basically redoing, I guess, their building, and they're setting up like new equipment. So I wasn't able to bring it in when I wanted to, and instead I'm going to have to bring it in the beginning of February. They told me to call back. So the hatch project is actually put on hold. But in last week's video, I was able to do a few things to the car. I updated a few parts. If you guys have been following me on the progress, I bought an exhaust for it, and with the help of my friends, Joe and Brian came out last weekend and they helped me out with a few things, throwing the exhaust on. It was a little bit of a headache because we had fitment issues, and I had to wait for a certain length test pipe, so it was a little difficult. But it was nice to get the old exhaust off and put the new exhaust on. I also was able to upgrade my shifter to a Skunk 2 short shifter. Felt really nice, really good. Once I took the old shift linkage out, I was able to see that the bushings that were in there were just cracked and dry rotted. So I did upgrade to energy suspension bushings, the red ones. Really firm, really hardened rubber, so that way it's a good feel. So that now the shifter feels really good, everything's really tight. Unfortunately, it's still the 4-speed in the original motor. Can't really do nothing about that. But I did want to jump into other things as well. Just wanted to show you guys some of the parts that I gathered up recently for the CRX. I'm going to be changing the rack and pinion because it's time for a new one. It's actually pretty bad. That's another reason why I don't like to push this car too hard or made videos in the past. Also have new tie rod ends and new lower ball joints for the car, just to tighten up the front end. I think this will give it a nice, good feel and get rid of that like sloppy steering. Let's face it, you come to this channel because you're either 1, a car enthusiast, 2, you're specifically into Hondas, and 3, you're into the content that I'm putting out. It's not for me. You guys come here to see these cars, and I feel like... So let's be serious. Actually, be serious. Yes, let's be serious. A B-Series motor, specifically known as the B16a. This was a very popular Japanese motor back in the early 90s that actually came with VTEC, which is variable valve timing electronic control. These motors were specifically sorted out for track and circuit racing use because of the high revving and the good power output that you gained in a range of different RPM settings. But you're probably asking, why the B16? Why a 1.6? And why something that doesn't make as much power as other Honda motors? You see, it's very simple. Hondas, for me, when I look back at how I got into Hondas, I didn't need a lot. And that was the basis of why I got into them, because you don't need a lot to get a lot out of them. And you can put so little into something and get so much joy out of it, it becomes almost an obsession. Now, if anybody's obsessed, you know it's me with the collection that I have. It's something that you cannot get in a newer car. Let's say anything past the year 2000 with the benefit of the doubt. It's odd when you get so much out of something that presents itself as so little. Now that's the question that we're all asking ourselves. Why such a small motor with such a high output? Interested in more? I thought you might be. So, the B16a, 160 horses, 112 foot-pounds of torque. Not much. Doesn't really sound like it's got a good power packing punch, but you're also getting a certain output that you would not need in something which was much heavier. Power to weight is a huge factor when it comes to these cars and these small motors with VTEC. This is why I chose the B16a. A nice put together high revving motor that does exactly what you need it to when you need it to and delivers with good response. I couldn't ask for something better. Now, you're probably saying you could have went with a K20, a GSR, and yes, that's very true. Those motors do make more power, they make more torque, and you can do a lot more of those as far as upgrade them to even higher standards of power without really busting the budget. Yet, and all I'm telling you guys is to inform you that the B16a is no slouch. I myself have gotten this motor rebuilt. The compression was 100%, and everything, the valve train was 100%. When you're building a project car, you have to ask yourself, what is the goal output for your car? This car was meant for a few things. It was going to be my weekend car, and it was going to be something I could have fun with at the track eventually, and just something I could use as an icon of its time and yet still get the reliability and the fun factor out of it all at the same time. So let's cut the crap. When it comes to Honda motors, we know that a lot of them don't pack a super big punch like how a V8 would, or something with a supercharger or a V6. But let's face it, we don't get Honda motors for that reason either. This is no Ferrari or Lamborghini, and I'm actually happy about that. This is a 1991 Honda CRX SI. Basically the point that I'm trying to get across to you is, I don't think this car is fast, nor do I think it's in the best shape of how it could be right now. I do have a few issues that I'm dealing with, which is why also I didn't want to make past driving videos. But that's all said and done, and I think it's time for you guys to see what this motor can do. I bought this car with the pure intention of having fun with it, and it's been nothing less. So without further ado, I present to you the legendary B16a.